A lot of Angel fans feel that the character of Cordelia was ruined during season 4 of Angel, and I completely disagree with that. While there was definitely a character ruined during season 4 of Angel, but it wasn't Cordelia. Listen to me while I break it down. Okay, first let's start off with Cordelia's character. In season 4, the reason a lot of fans feel that Cordelia's character was ruined was because she went evil and then she slept with Angel's teenage son Connor. For the life of me, I have never understood why so many fans think that, because by the time we get to episode 17 of season 4, the episode is called Inside Out, we find out that it wasn't actually Cordelia doing all those things. She was possessed by a higher power, who we later came to know as Jasmine. So it wasn't Cordelia doing all those evil things. It wasn't her sleeping with Angel's son. It was the higher power possessing her, Jasmine. Another issue that people say, another reason why people say they feel like Cordelia's character was ruined during season 4 of Angel is like after you bring it up that it wasn't Cordelia doing that stuff, it was Jasmine. Fans will go and say, well, the writers took too long to reveal that it wasn't Cordelia. It really ruined her character still because of that. But the writers really didn't take that long. I mean, Cordelia, the first time we saw Cordelia doing something that would be considered bad is when she slept with Connor. That was in season 4, episode 7, Apocalypse Nowish. 10 episodes later, in episode 17, Inside Out, that's when we find out that it wasn't Cordelia. 10 episodes really isn't that long. I mean, and what's more is like Angel is a show that has a lot of long gestating mysteries and storylines. I mean, take Cordelia herself, for example. In the middle of season 1, she gains the visions from Doyle, but she isn't able to handle as well as he was because he was half demon and she's fully human. So the visions, they really take a toll on her physically. And they also force her to grow up because when the show first started, Cordelia, she was like this spoiled, vapid, selfish valley girl who only cared about money and herself. But because of the visions, and she got to experience what other people were going through and how they were suffering, it made her more compassionate and caring towards other people, and made her care less about being rich and famous. And then as the seasons progressed, the visions took a more of a physical toll on her to the point where they were killing her. And that's when, in the middle of season 3, that's when Cordelia herself became half demon, so she could handle having the visions. She had the choice to give up the visions and live out her dream being a big time TV star, but she chose to go half demon instead of giving up the visions because she still wanted to help people. That's how much her character had grown. And then near the end of season 3, that's when she's become such a good person that she's able to ascend to become a higher power. All of that character development took place from the middle of season 1 to the end of season 3. That's about 2.5 years. That's way longer than us not knowing why Cordelia was acting the way she was during season 4. Also, Connor, his birth and the reasoning behind it, that took even longer to explain because it was or maybe about the same time frame. I'm gonna break it down. Near the beginning of season 2, in the episode The Trial, Angel tries to fight as a second chance for Darla because she's dying again from syphilis now that she's been brought back as human. Angel wins the trial, but he doesn't get the chance to use the second chance of life for Darla because she's already been given a second chance of life by Wolfram and Hart when they brought her back at the end of season 1. Then later on, near the end of season 2, in the episode Epiphany, Angel and Darla have sex. Then cut to the beginning of season 3, and we find out that Darla is pregnant. And it's by Angel. And that shouldn't be possible because both Angel and Darla are vampires. But still, somehow, she's pregnant. And nobody can figure out why. We don't figure out how she was able to get pregnant until we get to the episode where we find out that Cordelia's being possessed. And the episode is Inside Out again. That's the title of it. That's where we find out that the higher power who possessed Cordelia, she's been manipulating things behind the scenes. She used the fact that Angel got a spear life for Darla, but couldn't use it to get Darla pregnant when she and Angel knocked boots near the end of season 2. And that's how Darla was able to give birth to Connor will get pregnant with Connor and give birth to him in season 3, because Jasmine manipulated things because she needed an impossible birth to make her own birth possible so she could come forth in season 4. That storyline took from about the beginning of season 2 till about the near the end of season 4 for us to find out how Darla was able to get pregnant by Angel and have a child. So that's about 2.5 seasons again. Again, that's way longer than just the 10 episodes that it took to reveal that it wasn't really Cordelia doing all that evil shit. Furthermore, I like long gestating storylines, so I don't see the problem with it anyway. And plus, Angel is a show where characters routinely act out of character because they're under some type of spell or because they got possessed. So I don't see why the fans just didn't assume that's what was going on instead of assuming it was really Cordelia doing all that stuff. For me, like when she first slept with Connor, I wasn't too sure what was going on. I thought maybe she might be influenced by the Beast energy somehow because she and Connor Cordelia and Connor had a run-in with the Beast shortly before they slept together. So I figured maybe it was that. But once she killed Darla in the episode Calvary, that's when I knew Cordelia had to be possessed or under some type of spell for sure. So for me, it never really bothered me the way she was acting because I knew it wasn't Cordelia in the first place. And what's more, don't we like it when characters go evil or, and they get to act a little bit out of character and have some like wacky evil fun, and saying do things that they wouldn't normally do? It's not one of the reasons why Angel, the character, is so popular because of his turn as Angelus in season 2 of Buffy. Then people love the Dark Willow arc during season 6 of Buffy. Don't people love Spike because of how evil, because he's like this evil, sexy bad boy with a secret heart of gold? For me, and also, Wesley, he didn't go fully evil, but didn't people love Wesley more when he, lost the glasses, got the facial hair, and started acting like such a nerdy loser and became like this more badass guy who was morally questionable and started sleeping with Darla? Not Darla, but Lila. God, these names sound so similar, but no. He started sleeping with Lila. Then we love Wesley more when he did that. So again, I don't see the problem with Cordelia going back. I think the real reason why people didn't like it is because Charisma Carpenter wasn't able to pull it off. Charisma Carpenter is a decent comedic actress, but she could not play evil for the life of her. That was completely outside of her acting range. I think had she been a stronger actress and been able to pull off the material the writers were giving her, fans would have been more into her evil turn more. Anywho, now we got that half of the podcast over. Let's move over to the second half. Who was the real character that was assassinated during season 4 of Angel? It was Gunn. When Gunn first joined the show in late season 1 of Angel in the episode Warzone, he was presented as this tough as nails, badass vampire hunter who ran his own crew. And then in the beginning of season 2 of Angel, when he started working with Angel Investigations more, he was often presented as the best detective among the group, frequently figuring out stuff even before the book smart Wesley, who was head boy at the Watchers Academy, and before Angel, who's 200 and something years old and is worldly and has experienced a lot. Gunn was figuring out shit way before both of them. And then cut to season 4, and now he's being presented as just the dumb muscle. The characters frequently treat him as nothing but the dumb muscle, which doesn't make any sense because he's still often shown, even in this season, to be the best detective of the group. Like in episode 7 of season 4, Apocalypse Now, which that's when the Beast first appears. It's Gunn who figures out how to decipher all that text and those pictures that Angel got from Lila. It wasn't the book smart Wes, who was head boy at the Watchers Academy. We all know how he got that name. And it wasn't Angel, the worldly and experienced vampire who's been around for centuries. It was Gunn. 2 episodes later, Gunn was also the first one to figure out that the Beast was wiping out the Rotet systematically. It wasn't Booksmart Wesley, and it wasn't Brainy Fred either, who were both working on the case trying to figure out what the Beast was doing. They both kept downplaying what Gunn was saying when he was trying to tell them that the Beast was going after the Rotet. They kept saying, this isn't a pattern yet, blah, 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 blah. but Gunn was the one who figured it out. I thought the writers were going somewhere with this storyline, and they were gonna fix it and resolve it, because by the time we get near the end of season 4 and the episode Players, they had Gunn working with Electro Gwen to get this tech device from this Japanese dude, I forget his name. And during that episode, they show Gunn again being quite intelligent and using his brains over brawn to get him and Electro Gwen to the Japanese dude's party. And then they even have Electro Gwen remark on how Angel investigations have really done a number on Gunn, making him believe he's nothing more than a dumb muscle. So I thought, and Gunn himself, he even seems to acknowledge that's how they treat him, but it's not really true. So I thought the writers were about to go somewhere and fix this travesty of a storyline, but no. They actually doubled down on that shit. When we get to season 5 and Angel investigations take over Wolfram and Hart, they have Gunn led one of Wolfram and Hart's surgeons operating him to give him a brain upgrade because he doesn't want to be just a dumb muscle. And then later on in season 5, when the brain upgrade starts deteriorating, Gunn goes back to that same surgeon to make the brain upgrade permanent. In order to do that, though, the surgeon wants Gunn to get something through customs for him. He wants Gunn to get this sarcophagus through customs, which turns out to be Illyria's sarcophagus, which allows Illyria to possess Fred's body and kill her in the process. And then when Gunn gets confronted by why he would do something like that and not say anything to the group about what he did with getting the sarcophagus through customs, he said he did he brought the sarcophagus through the customs without a care in the world to get the brain upgrade because he just didn't want to go back to being just a dumb muscle. What the fuck? And if to add insult to injury, that's the only storyline they gave Gunn for season 5. And they didn't give him any episodes revolving around his character either. In previous seasons, Gunn always at least got one episode revolving around his character, plus he was heavily involved in the storylines. For example, when he first was introduced in season 1, he had Warzone revolved around his character. In season 2, he had First Impressions revolving around his character, plus The Thin Dead Line was also heavily involved around his character, plus he was heavily featured in the storylines as well as they were bringing him into the team, and they were showing him as being the best detective in the group. Season 3, he had the love triangle with Wesley and Fred, and then he had his romantic relationship with Fred, plus he had episodes revolving around him like That Old Gang of Mine and Double or Nothing. Season 4, he had the aforementioned Players, plus again, he was still involved with that love triangle with Wesley and Fred. And unfortunately, he also had that Just a Dumb Muscle storyline as well, so they gave him a lot more to play with. In season 5, all he's got is just a dumb muscle. That's it. And an occasional legal scene, but nothing else really besides that. Now, compare that to what the other characters got. Angel, of course, got a lot of episodes and storylines surrounding him. He's the lead character. It's his show, so he should have that. So I don't have any problems with that. They brought Spike over from Buffy because he's such a huge fan favorite, so they, of course, had to give him a lot of storylines and episodes revolving around him. I don't like it because I don't like Spike, but I expected that. But the rest of the characters, they still got a decent amount to do as well. Lauren got his own episode, A Life of the Party. Wes and Fred got a lot of episodes revolving around them near the end with the whole Illyria arc. Plus, they each got their own individual episodes as well. Wesley got the Lineage episode with his dad coming to visit. And then Fred, she got the A Hole in the World episode. That's when she first starts having her body taken over by Illyria. Hell, even Harmony, who prior to season 5 had only appeared in one Angel episode all the way back in season 2, and for all of season 5, well, most of season 5 was a guest character. Even she got an episode revolving around her character, that episode Harm's Way. But Gunn, somebody who's been there since late season 1, can't get a single fucking episode revolving around him. He can't get any other decent storyline or any storyline period really besides being just a dumb muscle. I think it's because they didn't know what to do with Gunn's character. I think it's because Whedon and his team of writers, they were all white, and Gunn was the only black character, and they didn't really know how to write for a white... Let me start over. I think the issue is that Gunn is black, and the entire writing staff of Angel was white, and they didn't really know how to write for a black character because they haven't really experienced that. So when it came time to develop the storylines and character arcs, they didn't know what to do with him. I mean, for me, because I really can't understand why else would they not give him nothing to work with, but still give someone like Harmony some storylines in an episode revolving around her. Like that's the only thing I can think of is that Joss Whedon and his team of writers didn't know how to write for a black character, or didn't care to, one or the other. They just, I mean, I don't think they were being. I'm not sure if I would go so far as to call Joss Whedon and his team of writers out and out racist, but so maybe so much they have racial blind spots because they didn't know how to write for a black character or didn't care to, or one or the other, so they just left the gun out in the cold. But anywho, these have just been my PC pop culture musings. I'm Kohoko. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe. Thank you and take care. Bye bye.